Welcome back to the weekend wrap. No production, just my thoughts. As always, please like and subscribe, share with a friend, a colleague, a relative, an associate, an enemy, any and all in between. It's appreciated. First things first, happy Mother's Day to all the mothers out there, all the grandmothers out there, the great grandmothers, whoever, who's just out there doing the best that they can for their children. Most importantly, happy Mother's Day to my mom, who I no doubt will be seeing shortly. And yeah, just hope you guys get to enjoy, have a peaceful day. If you had plans, hope the plans all go off without a hitch. Also, I guess Eid for all of the Muslim watchers. Shout out to you guys for going through Ramadan over the last 30 days. I supported you for a week there, so obviously I know how it goes. I don't know if I'll be doing the next time when it goes around in summer, but never know. Like a challenge. But yeah, shout out to all of you guys as well, and I hope you're all doing well and feasting heavily at the end of this fasting period. Also, quickly, apologies to everyone that was expecting Fight Talk Live last weekend. I did everything in my power to make sure that it happened, but things happen behind the scenes, unforeseen circumstances, and whatnot. Ultimately, we couldn't get it together. I'm hoping that there is a chance it happens tonight, but I do know that if it does, more than likely, Danny Glover from Fight Fan TV, shout out to him, he probably won't be there due to obviously Mother's Day festivities. I can't guarantee it will happen today, but if it doesn't, you know why pretty much. But yeah, I'll do what I can to make sure that we get the content out. Now, with that all being said, weekend was it was a very fun weekend of fights. Friday night, look, we had the Matchroom Next Gen cards. Now, I pretty much barely watched it because it was on the same time as Friday Night SmackDown, which is obviously taking place in London at the O2. So I was kind of more focused on that. But I did watch the Cameron Vaughn and Jordan Flynn fight, which was the main fight on the card that I said to me had any real interest. However, before I even get to that one, I do want to speak about William Crawler and Emmanuel Zion. I did watch that fight, which opened the broadcast, and that was a very, very fun fight to watch. Emmanuel Zion, not someone that I had actually seen much of or really heard of before, and in the first round, it looked like William Crawler was trying to do his usual one-round knockout job, but Zion composed, compact, weathered the storms quite well, and then came back in round two. He won that round in my mind. Like, put quite a clear and concise. I won't say a beating in the second round, but he really was giving William Crawler the business, and he wasn't used to that. Round three, I feel like Crawler got it back, but then round four, I feel like Zion got that one. It was a 6-rounder, and then round five, I kind of had it a draw round, to be honest. But no, sorry, I gave the round to Crawler, just about. But it was like a draw. It was a very close round. It was a swing round, in my opinion. Round six, I gave to Crawler as well. But Zion was, doing well, but Crawler just managing to land just a little bit more. So it was ended up on the referee scorecard 58-57, so extremely close, which means he probably gave that fifth round as a draw. And look, I didn't know much about Emmanuel Zion, but if I see his name on the sheets moving forward, I will definitely be tuning into those 6-rounders. He done himself proud. I also shout out to William Crawler. Went through an acid test, had to take a beating in there as well, but he learned a lot in those 6 rounds, probably more than he's learned in his last 6 fights. So yeah, salute to him. Now, Cameron Vaughn, Jordan Flynn. Now, I predicted Cameron Vaughn would win this fight. I said he'd be too big for Jordan Flynn. I said I thought he'd sort of just control him at range, control the distance, not really allow Flynn to get close, and ultimately just take it to a points decision. Because I felt like Flynn would try to be a bit too defensive to make sure he wouldn't get stopped by Vong, based bearing their rivalry. Got that one slightly wrong. Cameron Vong did manage to step it up in those middle, sort of those middle rounds, and yeah, look, he put his combinations together just when he needed to. Couple well placed shots, very accurate. Did very well. It was probably his best performance in the last 2 years, and he ultimately ended up getting a stoppage. I think it was in their eighth round. So I mean, look, congratulations to Cameron Vong. He moves on with his career. I think they're looking to run back the Gavin Gwynn fight, so we will wait and see what happens there. Main event, I saw it from, I think, the third round. To be honest, I think it went 4 rounds of five. But ultimately, look, you had Pat Brown just so beaten up on, I think his name was Grandone. Just yeah, look, just looked like he just had too much for him. I saw him get hit a couple of times, but it's boxing. It depends on, I guess, the manner of how you're getting hit. Are you being defensive? Are you sort of, swinging with your arms down, etc.? Couldn't really tell. Like I said, I ain't watched enough of the fight because I knew what the fight was supposed to be. But from what I did see, it looked like it was fairly fun, and I'm sure the crowd enjoyed it. So it would be interesting to see what Pat Brown's next move is. Congratulations to him. Now we had Ayala versus Yabuki in Japan. Now I went with Ayala to win. I thought he would win a points decision, especially as Yabuki was coming up from light flyweight to flyweight to challenge him. Well, I haven't seen the fight, but I've heard enough about it, and Ibuki got the win, got the decision. Apparently, it was a bit of a bloodbath with both guys, or at least one of them suffering very nasty cuts. One, I think, underneath the cheek, or just over the top of the cheek. Sorry, under the eye of. But I'm not sure who it was. I think it might have been Ibuki, but I need to go and find a stream to watch it because it sounds like it was a really good fight. But look, Masamichi Yabiki gets it done. Shout out to him. I didn't think he would be able to go up and retain sort of the level of composure and dominance that he has managed to have for quite a bit at light fly, but he did. So maybe there's a rematch to be had with Kenshiro Taraji. It would be the trilogy fight for them. They're 1-1 apiece at the moment. I guess we'll have to wait and see. Now, I was watching some of the Top Rank and obviously some of the Golden Boy cards. I didn't manage to see all the fights in their totality. I was kind of flicking back and forth between the two. But what I did manage to see from the Top Rank card was Shushu Carrington get a third round stoppage victory. And look, from what I saw, especially the accuracy, like the punching, from like the first round, I didn't manage to see the first round, but from what I had heard, he was sort of getting touched a little bit. But I guess he was saying something about his plan was to try and make the opponent open up a little bit. So get comfortable, like throw a few shots, open up, so that then he can try and counter. Now, look, people can always say that when they win, but I guess no one really wants to get hit. So, but that being said, what he did in rounds 2 and round 3, quite masterful. He hadn't been in the ring since I think May last year, so there could have been a little bit of a ring rust in there that he was trying to sort of get rid of. But he definitely done what he did. Straight after that, he called out Nick Ball and Stephen Fulton, and it's funny because Mark Kriegel was like, "Oh well, you've called out the short guys, but what about the tall guy that's also signed to Top Rank?" And he said, "Look, he could get it too. I've been called him out before, but does he want to fight me?" kind of thing. Now look, that could have been a little bit of posturing, but he did say in the interview before that, like, "Look, yeah, I'll fight any of the champions. I don't have a problem with that, but ultimately, Stephen Fulton and Nick Ball are the names in the division. Like, they're the biggest names, or the people with sort of the most interest behind them. So those are the ones I want." Now, quite frankly, I don't mind that. Look, if you're, he's calling out champions. You know what I mean? you might say, it's hard to. If it was a unification or something, then you'd be like, well, no, you take whatever champion's available. But realistically, Nick Ball and Stephen Fulton, no, sorry, Nick Ball's just fought, so he's free. Rafael Espinosa's actually got a fight lined up, and so does Stephen Fulton. So realistically, Nick Ball is maybe the only one that you can, confidently call out now, because he's not actually doing anything. So I don't have that much of an issue with that. But yeah, if if the energy was seeming a little bit off when they talk about Espinosa, then maybe, okay, he's not really on that work. But we'll give him grace on that. Then they had a long period of break on ESPN or Top Rank or whoever was doing the show, which they got to work out their pacing. Ultimately, look, if you know that you're going to have that long of a break before you hit your I guess your broadcast rights or whatever it is in the States, then put on another fight, get another 2 fights in there, a couple of floaters, put those on, or just structure your fight card better. It wasn't easy necessarily staying up those sort of times of night, but man did it. But I watched, I didn't manage to see the first 5 rounds, but Yokasta Valle versus Marlon Esparza, that was a fight I was interested in seeing. I predicted that Yokasta Valle would just outwork Esparza, who again, she came in overweight. So I think that's the second time in a row that she's blown the 112 limit. And quite frankly, like, if you look at her, it's not hard to tell how she's blowing the limit. She's not 112 pounds. She can't make that weight. I'm not going to make any remarks about her body or her physique or anything like that, but it is weird to see a woman that is that light, 115 pounds, look in the shape that she looks in. It's very, very weird. She needs to move up. She needs to probably just embrace that, move up. But the problem being is she has no punch power there. She probably won't have punch power at 115 or even 118. And there are women there that probably will, now that she's not that bigger girl to the other girls, she will probably get found wanted even more than maybe she has. I mean, there's only so many gift decisions that she could get, and I think all of those gifts have run out at this point in time. But Yokasta Valle, I thought she'd get a unanimous decision, but it ended up being a majority decision. Again, I haven't seen the first 5 rounds. I can't say whether or not that's correct, but from what I saw, like, Yokasta won that quite handily in those sort of last 4 to 5, although there was a couple of decent spots in there by Esparza. So from that point, I didn't even manage to see the Oscar Collazo fight. I do need to watch that one back, but I know that he got a stoppage. I know he got a knockout. I saw Robin Safar, a few of those. I saw a couple of his rounds. Didn't see the end of it, but I know he got a knockout also. Then Brian Norman Jr. versus Cuevas. Now, Derek Cuevas, sorry. Now, look, I predicted that Norman Jr. would go the distance. I thought it would be sort of a bit of a distance fight. Both guys, big punching, and it would just be one of those ones where it kind of just nullifies itself out. And in the first round, Brian Norman Jr. was definitely showing some signs of rust or slowness. They were saying on the broadcast, I think, that he's known for kind of being a bit of a slow starter. Needs a little bit of time to warm in. Well, he's lucky that he was given that time, because he ate, I think, 2 big left hooks in that first round. One of them visibly weakened and wobbled the legs, but the powers of recovery came back quite well in that moment, and they managed to sort of just get back on the jab, get back behind the jab. But rounds 2 and rounds 3, he was really sort of just trying to load up for those big shots. He missed a couple, but ultimately he landed the ones he needed when it mattered. And then in round 3, it was a brilliant 2-1 combination. He threw the 2 just to knock the arms out of place, and then hit him with hit Cuevas with the 1. Very similar to what Terence Crawford did to Errol Spence in the second round of their fight back in 2023. It looked almost identical. So yeah, and then from that moment, like, Cuevas was down. He got up and walked to the corner. It looked like he was either dazed or disinterested, like he no longer wanted to be there, wasn't complying with the referee. Now, so I don't know if there was any bit of a language barrier. I don't know if he speaks English or not, but he was definitely looking towards his corner and not paying attention to inside the ring. Referee eventually, he was like, come to me. He didn't really turn around. Finally, as soon as he did turn around, the referee just waved it off, saying, okay, yeah, it's done. So I was surprised. I didn't think he would get a knockout, especially not that early in the fight. I won't lie. Although I was thinking, okay, maybe I should change my prediction on the predictions league to KO, because I think I predicted KO on the basis picks video, but in my predictions league I think I put unanimous decision. So I was gonna go back and message obviously I was gonna go back and message the email and say, yo, change that pick, but I went on basis picks. I think I predicted a late stoppage around 10. So yeah, look, he did like 6-7 rounds better. Then we get to Michaela Mayer versus Sandy Ryan. Obviously, this was my most interesting match of the night, because obviously it was a rematch. Sandy Ryan, you know, a Brit, obviously, so I want to kind of see what she's doing. Gone over to Top Rank, obviously being a matchroom fighter. So, you know, she was there with Frank Smith, and Kay Karomo was now in her corner along with her brother. I wanted to see how she'd do. And to be honest, I actually think that the first fight was closer than this one. And I think the problem was, ultimately, Sandy Ryan, the tactics that she employed in those first few rounds, I don't know if she thought that she was winning the rounds doing that, but those kind of tactics definitely only work if it's a 12-round fight, 3 minutes a round, because you're trying to be on the back foot, trying to sort of just counter punch, pot shot, maybe just a little shot here, shot there. But when you've got the woman in front of you throwing flurries and combinations, yes, not everything is landing, but she's busy and there is enough landing more than you. Your accuracy might be better. Like, I think they said that over those first 2 or 3 rounds, Sandy Ryan's punch accuracy was about 40%, which is a very high number for boxing. And I think Michaela's was maybe like, I don't know, 23 or something like that, but Michaela threw considerably more punches. Now look, it's not always about the volume, but like, if if you are backing off and being sort of looking like you're being pushed about, not making the mistakes be paid for, it looks a certain way. And it definitely looked, especially how the fight sort of progressed from round 5-6 onwards, that Sandy Ryan was only looking, she was actually trying to look for a knockout. Her whole thing was, all right, I want to get you working in those first couple of rounds, tire you down a little bit, try to start applying some pressure, and then trying to land some big shots later on when you're tired to hopefully take you out. So it looked like the game plan was, I'm going to go for the stoppage rather than I'm going to try to win these rounds. And ultimately it was the wrong game plan. Now, in terms of the scoring, I predicted in the predictions, in my predictions video, that Michaela would make this one more conclusive, more decisive, because she would just work when Sandy won't be working, and she'll just basically, it will be the work rate that cost Sandy Ryan this fight. I predicted, I said, look, this time it will be like a unanimous decision, quite clear, and it was going to be almost like I said 97, 93 type scorecards, and it was 2 97, 93, 1 98, 92. Now, I thought that was a bit wide. My scorecard, I gave Michaela Mayer the first round, I gave Sandy Ryan the second, I gave Michaela the third, fourth, fifth, and sixth. I gave Sandy the 7th and the 8th, and then the 9th round I scored a draw. It was a very, very tight round. Could have been a swing, so it could have gone either way. If you guys don't like the draw, pull it whichever side you choose. And then in the 10th round I gave that to Michaela Mayer. So at the end of it, I had it 6-3 and 1 even for a score of 97-94 to Michaela Mayer. And yeah, so those 97-93 cards, perfectly fine. If you swing the 9th round to Michaela, like I said, 98-92, I would like to see what that judge gave to Sandy, the rounds that she gave her, or he gave her, sorry. I'm assuming it's probably round 7 and 8. But yeah, look, it was a fun fight. It caught fire towards sort of round 7 onwards, especially when Michaela Mayer suffered a cut over her eye due to a head clash. I think that happened in the 6th round, and then yeah, it was almost like Sandy started smelling a little bit of blood from there, and she sort of kicked into high gear. Maybe the red blood reminded her of the red paint in the first fight, but it wasn't to be. Ultimately, yeah, if she's the tactics she was employing were good for if you are fighting like maybe a smaller girl that you can bully, or if you are fighting 12 3-minute rounds, because that is what it looked like. It looked like she was trying to go for like KO, so she was trying to game plan it like she's going for a KO. And I don't know what a corner was telling her. I don't know what Kay Karoma was telling her. I don't know what her brother was telling her, but it's like, these are 10 2-minute rounds. You ain't got time to warm into the fight or to feel things out. Like, you have to get cracking, and you have to get cracking from early. So look, that's something that she's got to work on. She's got to figure out. I expect her to be back. She might move up to 154. Maybe she might see if she can go down to 140. Who knows? But there's still options for her. So I hope that Matchroom don't decide to drop her now. There's no belt. I hope they can engineer some more opportunities for her, because she's still fairly young, 31, and she's in good fights. So we'll wait and see. Now with that, as soon as obviously that fight's there, I kind of switched over to Zepeda and Farmer, and now obviously the first I came in on, I think, the second or the third round. No, or was it the fourth? I think I may have came in on the third or the fourth round. So I didn't see the first 2 to 3. But what I saw initially, especially like when round 5 came out, it looked very much like Tevin Farmer was getting out hustled, outworked. Like he was, it looked almost like he was sort of being worn down and tired a little bit. But every minute, like, he would just come back. And like these body shots, I saw certain body shots, I'm like, oh, these are gonna fold him eventually, because some of these are really nasty. But he just took them. Sometimes got in the clinch, got on the inside, tried to work a little bit on the inside, came back out with a bunch of flurries here and there. It was a great performance. I was on Twitter like, yo, this guy, I'm swearing and all sorts, like, Tevin Farmer, geez, like, round of applause, hand clap. And this is bearing in mind hearing that he's like busted up his hand like early, that round 1 or something, hurt his elbow round 4, but he just wouldn't take they was like, the team was sending him take a knee, wouldn't take a knee. He refused to be pulled out of the fight, to the point where when it got to like round 7, 8, 9, these sort of rounds, he actually started like taking over a bit when William Zepeda started to slow down. Zepeda, the flurries became more sporadic, and at that point, Farmer's there, he's working, he's on the back foot, he's on the front foot, he's hitting to the body. There was a shot he landed, which, it did look like it caused Zepeda to get knocked to the canvas, but the referee waved it as a slip. So maybe he felt that he was sliding down to begin with, and the initial cuffing over the top wasn't really a contributing factor. There was also a couple rounds earlier where Tevin Farmer fell to the ground inside of a clinch, and the referee ruled that a slip as well. So maybe it's just evening it out in that sense. Don't know, but I predicted that. I felt that Zepeda would get the unanimous decision, but in basically being in the fight, it would be because in rounds 9, sort of 10, 11, 12, Tevin was looking very tired in rounds 9 and 10 in the first fight. So I thought, well, you got 2 more rounds of the action. That might be what sort of seals it for Zepeda. But he got the fact, I didn't think he was going to reach that final bell, like when I started watching sort of rounds 4, 5, 6. But my God, like, I've got to commend that guy. Look, 8 losses on the record, yeah, but his record is very deceptive when you look at the losses. Like, a lot of them was very, very early on in his career. Didn't start boxing till he was 18. Like, he was, yeah. Obviously, I'm not gonna be like, oh, brilliant loser and all that sort of stuff, because I don't usually do that. But having seen a couple of the fights that he's had where he's been not been given a decision, and I feel like either he's won that fight or at least should have got a draw, especially being the away fighter, it was commendable. But last night, the amount of grit, determination, and the fact that he had, he had Zepeda hurt at moments. He had him worried. He was, he had him panicking. I gotta commend it. I gotta say it was my fight of the night. I've not seen that kind of heart and determination from anyone, from that level of pressure. So yeah, look, shout out to him, commiserations. He was basically almost alluding to, like, I don't even know if I want to carry on boxing, because I feel, look, it's not his fault that the judges gave him the decision, but I felt like I kind of won that one clearly, and I keep getting robbed on these cards, like, I don't have no big promoter behind me. So he's basically alluding to the fact that because he is the B-side in a lot of these fights, he's getting jobbed out, and basically his name is just being used to sort of put wins on other people's records when they don't deserve it. I didn't see the entire fight, so I can't really say how I scored it, but realistically I wasn't scoring at that point. I was just enjoying, and just the emotion of the fight itself was top notch. And when I see, like I said, rounds 9, 10, 11, he's styling, he's actually coming back. And then in round 12, he definitely won the 12th round. Like, so for all of what had gone on before, like, he was out hustling, out bullying Zepeda. I was like, yeah, okay, you're a real one. I had to give him nothing but praise on that. But yeah, if he does decide to maybe hang it up now due to more being disillusioned with not being given fair shakes, that would be a real shame. But yeah, he can be proud. He can be proud of himself. As much as I know he's probably vexed and feels like I should have won, like, the performance itself was enough. So I'm gonna rate that and leave that one there. That was pretty much everything that I saw. Can't really comment on some other. There was a few other bits and pieces, some other bits of news. I might do a video on that a little bit later on today, or maybe Monday, Tuesday. I doubt there's gonna be a casual stream this Tuesday, because I may be sorting out some stuff in terms of I'm traveling on towards the end of the week, so I may have to figure out some other stuff, and I may have some other plans that have to be arranged for that Tuesday instead. But we'll see. Maybe I can get some other videos out. Maybe I can get some other content out. Maybe I can do the stream on the Wednesday night instead for you guys. But yeah, I'll keep everyone informed. But I'm going to leave it there for right now. That was my sort of summary of the weekend. Well done to Michaela Mayer. Prediction stuck. She done exactly what I expected her to do. So did Sandy to a certain extent. So hope she gets to reflect on that and whatever. Pat Brown, didn't really, he did what he was supposed to do. Congratulations, Altrincham, very good crowd out there for him. So see what he does moving forward. Cameron Vong, Shushu Carrington, nice stoppage as well. Oscar Collazo, I know he got the stoppage. I have to watch the fight, but shout out to him. And also Nick Pete from the Fight Disciples. The fact that when they was talking about Zepeda and Farmer, and I'm not even going to get into the whole thing, because he absolutely, like, winds me up. But he basically made a comment on one of their videos about the preview, where they was talking about the Tevin Farmer fight and William Zepeda, and then he said, oh well, okay, well, yeah, there's nothing else really on that card of note to worry about, because I mean, who really cares about two little, what do you call it, like two little minimum weights, or two little men fighting or whatever. Bearing in mind, Oscar Collazo is very, very close to coming into contention for being on, like, the pound for pound list. He's definitely somewhere in, if he was looking at a top 20, he's probably in the top 20 on the pound for pound list. I thought that was very disrespectful, and it just goes to show why it's very hard to take anything that either him or Adam Cattrall take seriously, especially a lot of the time when I watch the video sometimes just to see what they're giving to the audience, and the amount of times I listen to them get things so factually wrong, or come with some bullshit narratives or opinions, and because they've got such a big platform, that's what the people now think is the truth. Like, everything when they say about, oh, for like sacking off the belts and all that, okay, cool, that's fine. I ain't really got an issue. That's your opinion. But when you start talking about situations, oh, what's this person got to do to get a title shot, rare, rare, even though that person's literally been running away from title shots like for the last 18 months. And if you actually look to anything out in the wider world, it's not hidden, it's right in front of you. But anyway, that's enough of that. I'm not gonna go into any further rants. But yeah, them man, they're clowns, and that's what I'm gonna say on that. Anyway, with that being said, thank you guys for watching. I will be watching Oscar Collazo because he is a very, very good fighter, and I do want to see what he does moving forward. But yeah, I will leave it there. I will catch you in the next video. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. Again, happy Mother's Day to all of the mothers out there, all of the good ones, all the grandmothers, all the great grandmothers, etc. And happy Eid for all of the Muslims breaking that Ramadan fast. Shout out to all of you lot, and I'll catch you in the next one. But until then, peace.